Now, what is the correct way to pronounce your stage name?
Uh, Boots. That's BOOT dollar sign. So like Ty dollar sign, Boots dollar sign.
Now, do people mispronounce this?
Well, most of the time, no. But sometimes I do hear boots. They forget the S because the dollar sign. But they say boot. I'm not telling those boots with the S dollar sign.
And speaking of that dollar sign, do people misspell this stage name as well?
Yes, and here and there they will misspell it without the dollar sign, just the S, or just say boot. Sometimes when I try to upload my music, it will only register as under me as boot, but when I check my music, I'll be under boots dollar sign. So
Now, speaking of the spelling, just a little bit further, can you explain why there is a dollar sign for the letter S as opposed to just being a regular letter S for you?
because I like getting money. Yeah, that's one of my motivations. One of my things I like doing. I like getting money, building and saving, investing. Yeah.
Now, do you accept any abbreviations of this stage name of yours?
Abbreviations. No, I don't. I don't really. I was thinking of abbreviation if it was the between BOT, but I don't have no abbreviation.
So no one calls you anything for short other than Boots.
I have nicknames out there, but other than Boots, nah, that's the only thing.
Care to share any of those nicknames?
Uh, the great Boost Gatsby, the Party King, uh, Bugatti, uh, what else? Spark Plug, things like that.
Now, these nicknames that you just presented, are these nicknames that you created for yourself, or these are nicknames people created for you?
Actually, these are nicknames people created for me.
And what about the nickname Bugatti? Have you ever literally driven one or own one, perhaps?
No, I've never driven one. I never owned one, but it might be one of my dreams to actually drive one. But it's not one of my cars that I want.
Now, what about your Instagram? For those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time, care to share your screen name on IG as well?
My IG name is official boots underscore. Since you can't add dollar signs on Instagram, official boots underscore.
Now, can you break down some of the phrases on this bio on IG of yours? So let's start with a few of these. F.X.R world and X in the phrase world. Can you dissect that at all?
FXR is just a short phrase for foreign rich. If people don't know, FXR is just foreign, then the X supposed to be and, then rich, so foreign rich. And the X in world is just, I just use, it's like a symbol I just use for X. So, yeah, a foreign rich world.
And what's the meaning behind that?
I'm Nigerian, so I accumulate a lot of income over the time. In naira, which is Nigerian money currency. So yeah.
Another phrase or phrases is a menace to your modern day mentality.
Wow. Uh, yeah, I am a menace to the modern day mentality. Oh, I think different than the youth that we have right now. So my trajectory of how I perceive certain things might be very menacing to the regular mind.
Care to share an example?
It's just the way I construct myself. How I discipline myself. I usually put certain thresholds that I have to do certain weeks, certain days that I don't pass. So I just make sure I keep myself level. So it's kind of like self-punishing, self-disciplining myself. So that goes for my health, my finances, my daily life, family. So it's all in a constructive type of system that I have.
Now, this discipline that you're describing, is this something you've always been or something you grew into?
This is something I actually grew into. I was brought up with just having a Nigerian background. It's just something that always stuck with me. And I realized too, being disciplined most of the time, helps you with your path and your journey. So I I stick to being disciplined by myself. So
When it comes to your immediate family, are you the most disciplined out of
uh,
them all?
yeah, because I'm the oldest, so I have to be the most disciplined.
And speaking of oldest, how many siblings do you have?
I have two siblings.
And same mother and father for all of you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, same mother and father. Yep.
Now, what's that like being the oldest on the ladder there?
A lot of responsibility. It's just a lot of responsibility as the oldest child. If anybody who's the oldest child, that you already know is a lot of responsibility. A lot of things fall onto you, even though it has nothing to do with you. It still fall onto you, and you just have to take control and just hold up to your responsibilities because that's you as the in my culture as the first child. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders. A lot of weight and burden. So you want to keep that image for your family, just to uphold that image for them.
Now, I don't know if what you just said fits this next answer, but we'll still formally ask you this question. And if you feel like you've answered it already, we'll move forward. But what's the biggest lesson you learned being the oldest?
Mm, the biggest lesson I've learned being the oldest is that you're not gonna get everything your way. So you just gotta deal with it, and just adapt. And it helps you being a problem solver. You end up being a problem solver as the oldest child because you always try to figure out how to solve a lot of problems around the house and around families and certain situations.
Now, another phrase on your Instagram bio, hashtag Bentley Records.
Oh, shout out Bentley Gang. Yeah, Bentley Records, shout out Bentley Records. That's my record label. I've been with them for a long time now. I actually been signing them about 2, 3 years now. So, we've been going strong. Let's go. Bentley Gang.
Since 2021.
Yeah, yeah. Been since 2021. Yes, sir.
And how did that opportunity come about for you?
Bentley was actually a record label I've been looking at for a long time, but they actually reached out to me back in 2020, and I didn't really look into it until I seen them email me a couple times, and I'm like, okay, let me look into this. Is this legit? Then Mr. Luca Days reached out to me. I talked to him personally, and we set something up, and I've just been with Bentley Records the whole time. So, great record label, great team. They've been putting a lot of new systems into the program that we have. So implicating for all the upcoming artists that we have on the label. So
And how did they reach out to you initially? Do you recall that?
I think they found me through Reverb Nation. Shout out Reverb Nation. It's one of them platforms that I used when I was a younger, and how to get my music out. I was utilizing their ads and things like that. So I believe they found me through Reverb Nation because that's one of the platforms I was using a lot and investing in a lot at first.
Are you still on that platform today?
I still am, but don't use it as often since the social media game has changed a lot. There's a lot of things that you can use for social media.
Now, with Reverb Nation, is there also a screen name or a handle with that those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time can discover you on?
Yeah, you just search up same name that you heard in the beginning. BOOT $ Boots. I guess the region I should be under is like Bowie, Maryland, Prince George's County, Maryland. So yeah, I should be up there.
Now, in 2021, when you did sign on that dotted line, do you recall what age you were at the time?
2021. I gotta do the math. That's what, like 3 years ago. What was it, 24? 28, yeah, about 24. Yeah, so.
And speaking of ages, care to share your birthday as well, the month and the day perhaps?
Uh, hey, me and Tupac got the same birthday, so June 16th. Me and Tupac got the same birthday. I'm not saying I'm the reincarnation of Tupac, but you never know. You never know. I might be the next big thing.
Now, everyone's circumstances are different. But for you personally, why did you sign a deal at that time in your life?
I actually took advantage of the deal because it was a distribution deal. So it's a distribution deal also with a lot of other systems that they have for new artists. They had a lot of things for like Bitcoin farming for some from artists. I'm not supposed to give too much details about the the mechanism that they use. But that's one of the things, and they have a lot of opportunities for our artists. They have people that can create cover art for you, EPKs, and set up tours and things like that. So it's one of them record labels. I know I needed it, and just wanted to just have that machine behind me.
And strictly distribution at this point.
Yep, correct.
Now, in regards to your name, is there any connection between you and another recording artist by the name of Bootsy Collins?
Bootsy Collins. Nah, I don't know who Bootsy Collins is. if he find me out, discover me, hey, we should link up, do some music together. But I'm gonna do my research on Mr. Bootsy Collins.
Now, that $ in your name has something to do with money, as you just described previously. Want to do a quiz with you, true and false, and see how much you know about money.
Let's do it.
Okay. True or false? Paper money is not paper.
Well, true.
That is correct. U.S. paper money is not paper at all. It's 75% cotton and 25% linen. In
Amazing.
Ben Franklin's day, people repaired torn bills with a needle and thread. True or false? There was once a $100,000 bill.
I think it's true. I think there was once a $1,000 bill. Yeah, I think it was. Then they took it away. Yeah.
You are correct again. The largest note ever printed was the $100,000 gold certificate printed from December 1934 through January 1935. They were only used in transactions between Federal Reserve banks and the U.S. Treasury.
Right. Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
2 more here. True or false? The grooves on your quarters serve an important purpose.
That's a trick question because I don't know conspiracy theories, but I feel like it has something to do with some Freemasons or something. But I'm gonna go with false with this one.
That is incorrect.
Ooh.
A quarter has 119 grooves around the edge. A dime has 118. The grooves were added to keep people from scraping off the coin faces and selling them as precious metals.
Oh, wow. Never knew that.
And the last one here, true or false, there are 293 ways to make change for $1.
219 ways.
293 ways to make change for $1.
I'm gonna just say true for that one because it gotta be a lot of ways to make change for $1. I mean, you can do quarters, nickels, dimes, pennies, nickels, quarters, half dollars, what else? $2 bill. I believe it.
That is true as well. So you were 3 out of 4. Now, all these facts were quoted from Reader's Digest, and for those in the audience that want to read the rest of the article in full detail, the link is in the description below this video. Now, moving forward, care to share your race, ethnicity, or nationality?
I'm Nigerian. My tribe, I'm Igbo. So even nobody know where that. Western part of Africa.
And are both of your parents in that tribe or from that tribe?
Yes, sir. Both parents Igbo. Yep.
And what is the main language you speak at this point?
The main language I speak at this point is English and Pidgin language. I don't speak fluently, but I do understand Igbo, but I don't speak fluent. I Pidgin talk. So during the interview, I might go in and out with my phases and stuff.
Now, that amount that you do know in Igbo, how did you learn that?
My parents, basically, they shouting it at me. They instead of saying the actual word for like water, they'll just say mini. adapted it, and I know what they talk referring to. So yeah, that's how I kind of adapted. And most of the times, intense conversations, I kind of know what they talking about is when it comes to intense conversations. I'm like, okay, I have a a suggestion what they talking about. So yeah.
Now, are they speaking it fluently themselves when they speak to you, or is it a mix of both, some English and some of that language as well to you?
I
Like
know.
in a heated conversation, that example you just presented, are they speaking it fluently to one another, to you, and you're picking that up, or is it broken, like
Oh,
some of this, some of that?
well, sometimes I can when they speaking to other individuals smoking back and forth, I could understand it. If my mother was speaking to me, sometimes she would just speak it fluently. I can understand the trajectory of what she's talking about. Then, or she use some pigeon talk. She throw some English and mix it with Igbo. So.
Now, the amount that you do know, have you incorporated any of those phrases with your music at all?
I had one African record that I had that kind of blew up last year called "Lost My Demons." So I kind of incorporated my culture, my voice, and how I talk in it. So
And that song is publicly available as well currently.
yeah, all platforms, all platforms. "Lost My Demons," one of my biggest records right now. So "Lost My Demons."
Now, aside from those languages that you do know, be that as it may, have you took a foreign language class in school perhaps?
Yeah, I did.
And care to share what? What grades? How many grades? Things of
Um,
that nature.
I took Japanese for 3 years, I believe. Yes, 3 years. I took Japanese for 3 years straight. I know some Japanese now, but back then I felt like I was speaking Japanese fluently because I had the class every day. So
And was this middle school for you? Was this high school for you?
this was just high school, just high school. Yep.
And was that a requirement or an elective back then for you?
Good question. I think you was required to take one language class. So I think that was just the language class I took. Um, I don't think it was a specific reason why I took it. I just took that class thinking because I do watch a little anime, so I was just trying to see if I could match what they was talking about to my classes. So
Now, did you take that class serious? Did you try to learn the language? Did you try to give it an honest shot back then?
I did. I did take it serious to a certain point. Then when you go into your senior year, you don't really care less about language classes. But I did take it serious. I did take it serious. I was actually like doing all the tests and answering questions, and I was fascinated. I'm usually fascinated with a lot of information and knowledge. So
But at the very end, any regret with that, not taking it as serious as you once did?
um, I, no, not at all. Because I feel like one day I might end up going to Japan, and I will be able to say certain things fluently, like what my name is. Like I'd be like Watashi wa Davido. Certain simple things like that. So you know, you know.
Now, zooming out, how far did you end up getting with your education?
Uh, only high school. Only got my high school diploma. Yeah.
And why did you stop furthering your education at that point of time in your life? Because there are some that go past that.
Um, at that time, I had a choice. I had a choice of going to school and taking up a loan and being in debt, or working, then working, save for the money, then jump back into school when I'm ready. So I took the choice to actually start working and get in the workforce and actually working. So I just didn't really have a good experience because my father, he did go to college at an older age, and because he didn't have the requirements for certain jobs that he needed, because he had the requirements and certificates and qualifications when he was back in Nigeria, because he was a teacher, a professor. But here they didn't accept those same qualification certificates that he had, so he had to redo it. It's like he has to redo, get his diploma for accounting, English, and things like that. So once that happened, he didn't kind of get a job for a while, and it was kind of like it kind of put a big toll on my father because he went to school thinking he was going to get a job. So that kind of like put a bad taste in my mouth. So I was like, you know what, I think I'm going to go another route. But when I'm ready to jump into school, I know the courses and lessons I would want to go into. So that will further my career. So.
Now, be that as it may, any regret on that decision making way back when?
No, not at all. Because if I didn't make the decision, I wouldn't really be where I'm at right now. And I've been doing great. So I just love my life and how I've been go. So it's just a journey for me.
Anything else you want to mention about your education or a question you weren't asked? People want to know just about that.
Education is way more important. I'm not saying not to go to college. Go to college. Enjoy the experience. Make sure you take your degree serious. If it's something that you want to do, go all the way with it. Certain colleges, universities, not you might not be ready for it, but there's other programs like trade school. You got the armed forces, so things like that. You don't have to always dwell on one thing. There's always many different paths and avenues that you could take in life.
Now, true or false in regards to Nigeria? You're a Nigerian prince.
Yeah, true.
Can you shed some light on that?
Just basically where I'm from, we value children, we value family. So where the location I'm from in my village, I am basically a prince. Because I come from a broad family, and since I'm the firstborn of my father, because he came from a family of 11 kids. So I have a lot of siblings, but since you're the firstborn, you kind of look at as a prince. So it's just like I said, there's a lot of burden on you. If your father or family members had debt in the village, now it's your debt that you have to deal with. A lot of concerns you have to deal with, a lot of responsibilities that you have to do when you come back to Nigeria. A lot of demands or requests, so you just have to get it done as the firstborn. So.
Now, do you still hold that title today?
Yeah, I still hold that title. I'm still hold that title. If I pull up to Nigeria right now, everybody coming back home. So everybody coming back to the village. So they waiting for me to come back. So it should be soon. It should be this year. I hope so, by God's grace. But yeah, it should be a journey. That's why I can't just go in and out Nigeria like I can. Because just the politics and the social economics going around there, you just want to be careful how we moving. So just want to go in a safer time.
And does it get any more specific, like what the name of the village is or things of that nature?
Everyone, I don't want to tell you the actual village, but it's an Mbise. Mbise, that's in Imo State. So if you search for my village is in Mbise, Imo State. Yeah.
True or false? You have a Nigerian net worth of $50 million.
Yeah, the Naira keep going up, so my network is about up there. But yeah, I hope nobody sees ever try to ask me for no money. But at the end of the day, yeah, that's I'm not capping. That's my Nigerian net worth. So if you do the math, you understand it makes sense. So.
Now, zooming out and taking it all the way back. For those in the audience, getting to know you for the very first time, care to share where you were born?
Oh, I was born in Nigeria, Jos, Nigeria.
And care to share where you were raised as well?
I was born in Jos, Nigeria. I was actually raised in PG County, Maryland. So my whole years, I was like my toddler years to kindergarten, I was raised in Landover, Cheverly. Then after that, I grew up in Bowie, Maryland. So a lot of people know me from Bowie more than Cheverly and Landover when I used to live there. So.
Now, just for historical purposes here, care to share the exact ages of those moves in your life?
Yeah, actually.
And if you don't know the ages, then maybe the grade you were in, perhaps, at the time?
Yeah, most definitely. When I was 2, I came to America when I was 2 years old. Then Bladensburg, Chevrolet, Landover. I was there till I was basically a fifth grader. Then my sixth grade years till high school, I was in Bowie for the rest of my teenage years. So
And do you still reside in that area today?
nah, I don't reside in that area. I kind of did a couple years ago. I stayed in Laurel, Maryland. That's kind of close to Bowie, but nah, I don't reside in that area no more.
What age were you when you officially left Bowie?
Uh, which age was I? Um, I think about like 19, 20, because I left my parents' house at like 19 because I was just on some young dumb shit. So went off, storm off, doing my thing. Then yeah, I just stayed away from Bowie after that. So.
And care to share where you reside these days?
Uh, in the Maryland capital, by the waters, Annapolis. So I stay in Annapolis.
You are sporting some jewelry during this interview.
Yeah.
Can you break down these items, these pieces, and the symbolism of them or the meanings behind them?
I wish I'm touching on FXR right now. This FXR chain, Foreign Rich. That's the brand. That's the movement. Right now it's Foreign Rich season. Roses, or is it? It's Africa. I'm African, born in Africa. I love my country. I love Nigeria. Um, Roses right here. I love rose gold. Anything rose gold, I'm onto it. My first grills was rose gold. If you see my first interview, I had grills. My first grill was rose gold. So, then the last one, Boss of DMV, that's the brand. That's my management. So, shout out Boss of DMV.
Now, care to share the jeweler or jewelers behind any of these items you just presented?
Um, the jewelers behind. Actually, I ain't gonna lie. The the first jewel FXR. I ain't gonna lie, I forgot where I got, because I got most of these custom made online. So, but I know these two is from a Jew shop, and the last piece was like a personal piece and an artisan, in PG County. But other than that, yeah, those are jewelers. Yeah. To be frank, I don't spend a lot of money on jewelry like I used to before, but right now I just like these pieces that I have, so I stick with these pieces.
Now, speaking of money and the cost of jewelry and things of that nature, that can fluctuate, but care to share the cost of these items at the time you purchased them?
Um, there was, well, like I said, I be budgeting myself. So to be honest with you, none of these jewelries on my neck surpass like $1,000. So I just keep it under that. So I just like jewelry just because of the pieces. So I mean, I want things that go with my brand. So like roses, you always see me have roses. I got rose earrings on. Africa, as you know, I'm always going to represent Big Africa, and everything else is part of my brand.
Now, Boss Up DMV, the three letters DMV, what does that stand for?
DMV stands for DC, Maryland, Virginia. If you don't know, that's the metropolitan area.
Now, what is your opinion of that phrase?
It's powerful, because when you say DMV, it's not just one area. It's actually that whole metropolitan area. When they come together, they do a lot of big things. They got Broccoli City coming up. So we DMV been actually growing. The culture, the music, the movements, the networking has been growing dramatically over the time. We have a lot of front runners now that's actually have big faces are now going industry, which I'm proud. I'm proud of DMV. That's part of the DMV movement, Boss Up movement. We try to, encourage people doing better things. Stay out. Criminal activities, things like that. Encourage, financial advancements. Encourage, just disciplining themselves and things like that. So that's the purpose of Boss Up DMV. We're the movement they left out, but they couldn't fit into the movement. So.
And Boss Up Boss Up DMV, was that a phrase or phrases that you coined or someone coined for you?
Um, I had it was a group. Actually, we used to say boss up a lot. So, I just took that phrase, and then I used to throw a lot of big parties in the area, and that used to be my brand. Like, we boss up, and the DMV coming, because we used to throw parties all over in the area, like DC, Maryland, and Virginia. So, we just made it a whole brand after a while. Before the brand was called Slutty Gang, but because I wanted to make it more. What I want to say more appropriate for for the masses. I can call it Boss of DMV. So
And what kind of parties were these?
all types of parties, college parties. Where I kind of gradually moved over time when I was growing up. So I used to do like high school parties to college parties, even though I never went to college. I was throwing a lot of college parties. People didn't know that I was throwing a lot of high school parties, college parties. Then I transitioned into doing a lot of stripper parties. Then a lot of in-house parties and private parties and things like that. So, yeah.
And do you still do that today?
Yeah, I still party, but I slowed it down a bit. But shout out the Clubhouse DC. We still in there. My How Lounge out Clinton, Maryland. Still doing great things every Saturday. Every Saturday.
And why the slowdown?
My death of my father. That kind of like slowed me down a bit because I was too much in the streets and just too much in the nightlife game that I kind of didn't pay attention to what was going on at home. So I just wanted to draw back, just make sure I'm doing things step by step and not like be too much indulged in the streets.
Now, when it comes to your father, do you remember the last correspondence you had with him before he passed away?
Yeah. He was in the hospital. We talked. I was just giving him words of encouragement, telling him, keep fighting. Don't let it, because he was feeling, he was fell into a sickness. So just giving words of encouragement because at first he was sick before, and I felt like words of encouragement and just being there, to let him know that you're there for him, or encourage him to keep moving. But eventually, after a while, after my last talk with my dad, and I found out he passed away. So yeah.
And how long did that conversation take place before he ultimately passed?
We talked for a while, about more than like I would say about like 30 to an hour. We were just talking, just there talking with my father, praying with him, just letting him know, reassuring him that I'd be there, I told her, sadly I was supposed to be there one day, then I got caught up with certain things, then the news came out the next day, and it was just like devastating. I was just like, I felt like I should have just came that day before, but I know he's watching over me.
So you weren't there when he actually passes away?
No, I was not there when he actually passed. So I was actually at work when I heard the news. So, yeah, unfortunately.
And how were you notified?
I actually it was kind of messed up because I managed a truck company, a logistics business. So I was at that time I had to pick up a route that day. I was driving, then I got a call. Actually, I didn't get a call. I was calling the hospital to talk to my father because I was gonna call him and say, "Hey, Dad, after I get off, I'm running over there." So when I called, they were saying that I'm not able to talk to him. I have no access, but that wasn't the case before. And I was like, every time I called in, y'all switch over. So they was like, yeah, we can't. You can't talk right now, and then we need somebody who's in his contact, emergency contact. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. So I was not hoping it was bad news. I called my mother. I say, hey, can you call the hospital quick? I don't know what's going on. They saying I can't talk to Dad. I'm on my way back because I was in Pennsylvania at the time, so I'm coming back from Pennsylvania. I'm gonna just jet straight there when I get back to Maryland. Then I think my mom called. Then they gave her the news. Then my mom called me back, and she told me the news, and that's how I found out about it.
So, do you have a favorite memory of him, you'd like to share with the audience today.
Uh, Favorite memory of my father. I got a lot of favorite memories. My father used to always introduce us to like a lot of new things, like especially like American wise. Like we like he got us introduced to like KFC. It's kind of funny, like we're talking about KFC, but he got us introduced to KFC. We end up liking KFC. Introduced us to like Chick-fil-A. I never knew a Chick-fil-A till my father started bringing Chick-fil-A back to us. Um, uh, we used to go out a lot every weekend. Every weekend was like we church, then we do something after church. So I got a lot of great memories with my father. Just over time. Oh, even when I went back to Nigeria with my father too, I seen how he was being himself in Nigeria, and I was like, all right, I like this my side of my father. He's actually being himself. Doesn't have to be like a robot, a little stuck up. So yeah, a lot of good memories.
Didn't know if there was one favorite that is at the top of the list of all of those.
Favorite, I don't know, because it's a lot of memories. I don't know. Um, I can't really think of the top of my head right now, but I do got a lot of memories with my father. I mean, I feel like every memory I have with my father is one of my best memories. So I don't like to sing it out. So since he's not here no more.
Now, what's the best advice you received from him, or most important thing you learned being around him,
Um,
if anything?
the best advice I actually got from my father was actually like always if you anytime in doubt, in trouble, in any issues, face God. So I always took that from him. Anytime I have any issues, any difficulties, I just put my two hands together and I pray. You know, I'm a very religious person, so I get that from my family, my father. So, you know, everything up to God, everything how I move, is God. So that's how I go about my life.
And speaking of that, do you follow a religion by any chance?
I'm actually Roman Catholic.
And was that how you were raised, or was that something you chose?
That's how I was raised, Roman Catholic my whole life. My mom was like Protestant, but when my dad was a hard Catholic, and most of my dad's side of the family are hard Catholic, so I grew up Catholic my whole life.
Anything else in regards to your father?
Uh,
Or question you weren't asked, people want to know about him.
my father was a very intelligent guy. Oh, you was talking about a memory? I do know a memory. It was certain math problems I couldn't solve, and I don't. It's one of my best memories because I would say because my dad used to solve any math problem, like even math problems I thought he wouldn't even be able to solve. He solved it. Like my dad used to be a math teacher, so he was so good at math, so good at numbers. He was an accountant, so he was a teacher when he was back in Nigeria. So he knew a lot about math, physics, pre-calculus and things like that. So I was never in trouble with math growing up. So thanks to my father, I know a lot about math, and I love math too.
Now, mentally, has this been something you sought any professional help over?
Uh,
The passing of your dad.
I did get professional help. I was taking therapy for a while, just to agree, talk about certain things. Then, it's still there, but I fought through it. So I just hold myself up. As my family say, make sure hold your heart. So I just hold my heart and just make sure, just keep on moving. I know he's there, so I don't cry about it all every day. I just know that he's there and he's with us.
Was the professional help, excuse me, helpful?
Yeah, it's pretty helpful because I'm a type of person I don't have a lot of friends. I don't talk to a lot of people. So sometimes I keep that bottle up in me. I'm the type of person that keeps a bottle up, and I won't even talk to nobody about it till probably after, if I feel like it's too much, I'm holding in too much, I go talk about it. But yeah, therapy help dilute the grieving that I was having with my father. So it just made it better. Great experience. I had a great therapist too, so she's very understanding. She wasn't one of them therapists that would tell you what to do. She'll sit back and listen, and she would say, hey, just make sure you just take time off and just do things for you and live for you. And I guess I just things I wanted to hear from myself because during my whole life, like after teenage years, like I felt like I was like living for everybody else and wasn't really living for myself. So yeah, therapy was great. I recommend it for people who really need it. If you need somebody to really talk to, get things off your chest, it helps.
Now, forgot to ask you this question uh, in the midst of all these other questions about your father, but you may have answered it already. So we'll formally ask you here, and if you feel like you've answered it already, we'll just move forward. But the question was, what was your father really like?
Uh, my father, my father was a very goofy guy. To tell you the truth, a very goofy but very serious guy. He didn't play no games. Like he was. I would say I don't know how to describe it. He was one of them old school type guys that like they go by principle. They go by uh go by certain rules and regulations. They just move a certain way. And my father was a very disciplined guy. My father was a guy who never let nobody walk over him. Very strong individual. My father he was strong like an ox. He's very strong. I've never, even the times when I grew up and times, if me and my father got into it, like, my father muscle was showing. I'm like, yo, this man old, but he pretty strong, So I won't say I was pretty afraid of my father, but like I said, he's always there. My father was always there. He was never a guy like walk out. So he was like always there, always thriving, always working hard. That's why I get my work ethic from my father and my mother, but my father most definitely because when he came to America, he was working 4 jobs at just to hold the house up. So he was working 4 jobs until he got into like government, then got into government jobs, then he was able to sustain himself after that. So I seen him work his way up. So that's why I say when I tell people like anything is possible, you just gotta be disciplined and just keep working and just keep striving to whatever you're achieving for.
What was the reaction from the village to his death?
Very surprised because he, according to everybody, he kind of died like at a young age. He died at 61. So everybody was shook. Nobody knew he was sick. So yeah, it's kind of devastating. He left a lot of old friends because that year he passed away. He was actually supposed to, me and him was supposed to fly back to Nigeria together, and it was kind of out in the air that we was coming back. So when he ended up passing away, they was kind of shook. That was the way he was coming back home to Nigeria, was not being alive. But yeah, that was pretty devastating.
Also, wanted to rewind back to something you said earlier. Asked you where you were born, where you were raised, things of that nature. But what was the exact reasoning of Maryland, of all places, coming from Nigeria to America? Because there's 50 states in America. You could have been to any other city or any other state. Why that particular area of Maryland? Why Maryland? Things of that nature. What was the reasoning behind that?
I guess we had more family members here. So we had family that was here before us. So we just felt like it was a safer state to. I believe my family chose the decision that it was a safer state to be in because we was more around family and they knew about the area more and how to get certain benefits, certain jobs. So it was just a security thing with family. So I think that's why we chose Maryland. I know we had family in Florida before we moved here. So, but Maryland was the best choice.
If there was a Mount Rushmore of DMV rappers,
Oh man.
which 4 people would you pick and why?
Sheesh, man, did me like that though. Put me on the spot for the DMV though. Oh man. All right. I ain't a DMV artist fanatic, but the people I'll put on this Mount Rushmore, I believe they deserve to be on this Mount Rushmore. I'll put Shy Glizzy. Because I ain't gonna lie, Shy Glizzy did change the game for DC a lot. You know, Shy Glizzy. Next person, Cutiful. Cutiful most definitely made some waves for the DMV. He most definitely changed a lot of the music scenery for Maryland. So he kind of put Maryland. He did put Maryland on the map. Um, Another person I'll put up there with him. What I got 2 more spots left. Um, who else? Who else? Who else? DMV artists. Uh, Light Show. I like Light Show too. Like I put Light Show up there. Very humble individual. I ain't gonna lie. Very he ever since I seen his career grow, he had always been a very humble individual. So I like artists like that. And one more. Who am I gonna put? Who am I gonna put on there? Who am I put? Who really be carrying the DMV on their shoulders like that? Who? Man. Uh. I'm gonna just go with this person just because I will say Shabazz. Shabazz, was it PBG? Shabazz. He got songs with like Lil Uzi. You know, him and Cutiful was running the Maryland streets with music party scene for a while. So I'll put those in my full Mount Rushmore off the top right now. So Shy Glizzy, Cutiful, Shabazz, and Light Show.
And is that the order?
No. The order will go Shy Glizzy, Cutiful, Shabazz, Light Show. Yeah, that's the order. That's the order. Yo.
Now, for transparency, do you know any of these names personally, by any chance?
Which names?
The 4 that you mentioned for the Mount Rushmore. Do you have any personal connections with any of them?
I actually don't, but I did. I went to the same high school to Cutiful. I think we went to same high school in 9th grade. So I think 9th and 10th grade he went to Bowie. Then that's how I knew who Q was. I didn't know him by Q, but I don't want to put his government. But everybody probably know what his government name is. But that's how I knew him by Q. I knew him from an associate that I knew called Migo Matt. So Migo Matt, we used to, you know, I won't say we used to run the streets together, but we used to be cool, cordial. I used to always go to his crib, and he used to like, work out and stuff. Because we most definitely like to be in the gym, so he used to work out, and it would be times where Cutiful would pull up on his house and he'd be like, hey, Q outside, and I'm just like, Q. I'm like, who's Q? And he's like, you don't know who Q is? We went to school with him, and I'm like, I don't know who Q. So when he tell me his government name, I'm like, for real? And he's like, yeah, he's going crazy in the music scene. I'm just like, and I had no clue, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, yeah, and that's when I seen him blowing up, and I was like, yo, this is for real. And I was like, wow. But like I always been around, the scene for some reason. I always had a little attachment to certain people, like people I manage. They would have, associations with people that's doing big in the DMV. So I'm well connected. So
Now, did he have the same exact grade as you? So when you were in 9th and 10th, he was in 9th and 10th as well, or he was just attending the same school during those grades that you attended?
he well we just I think we're the same age, so we in the same he was most definitely in the same grade. So when I was in 9th grade, he was in 9th grade. So yeah, I mean that's how I know who Q was. I rooted for him because he's Maryland, because we never really had a Maryland artist that actually was like pushing all the way and was saying, oh yeah, I'm from Maryland, and he was actually the main one that was saying I'm from Maryland, and I was like, he put Maryland on the map, so I gotta respect Cutiful for it.
Did you have classes with him by any chance?
I think I had one class, but I ain't, like I said, I didn't really pay attention to a lot of people. I was just in my own world, in my own zone. But I think I had one class with him. If not, I probably just seen him in the hallways and stuff like that. Cause at Bowie High they got 2 schools, so they got the main building and they got the annex. So he was most definitely in the annex with all the 9th graders. So that's how I knew about him, because he's one of them. He's one of them people like you probably hear about, because I won't say I don't know too much of personality was, but he's one of them kids that you hear about a lot in school. So yeah.
So there are people in the audience that know of him musically, maybe not so much personally or his high school days. They just know him for his songs and projects and body of work and things of that nature. But uh, what was he like from when you may have paid attention or seen him around or however way you want to describe it? What was he like just in that setting, um, if you even recall at all?
Uh,
The high school setting. Was he doing music back then, or it's just you just knew of him or his name, but it wasn't for music purposes in high school?
yeah, at first, when I knew him in school, it wasn't from music. It was just from him, being one of them teenagers. You know what I mean? You know how you have one of them kids everybody know, and they. Uh, I ain't let me say I'm not incriminating anything he did this. I don't know what he did this, but he's just one of them kids you see in the hallway. He always be roaming the halls. He be with certain people that I used to associate with. So it's just like I feel like he was good people, but he had his own thing going on. So it was a time where actually, like, fast forward, when he blew up with the music, his actual music group came to one of my biggest parties. So it was funny but he wasn't there. It was his group, and it was like, oh yeah, we're PBG. We're trying to come to your party, and I was like, and at first I don't know who they were. I was like, I don't know who y'all are. And they was like, we don't pay to come to parties. I'm like, well, you can't come to this party. I don't know who y'all are. Then my guys put me on game, and it was like, yo, you don't know who that is? Who the one? I'm like, oh. All right, but they still got paid to come to the party. I don't know that. It was like, all right, but everything, we chopped everything good. They came, they had a good time. I think the DJ knew them, so they was playing their music throughout the whole night. So it was a lit party. It was 2 floors, packed house. I mean, that's how I like my parties.
And what was the group name back then?
My group name or their group name?
Their group name.
Their group is called PBG. I feel like I think Pack Boy Gang, something like that. PBG, yeah. So, that was their group back then. They had all the bangers back then. Like I'm talking about every high school party, college party. It was just their music. It wasn't like no other people music, but their music in every club.
So his group was at your establishment, but not him personally.
No, not him personally. My group, yeah, his group was at our establishment, but not him. If he did show up, he probably showed up later or something like that. But I was too busy running the party. That's okay. I just want everybody to have a good time at my parties.
So just for further clarification, back in the high school days, you just knew of him. You knew him personally. You spoke to him a few times. You had dealings with him. What was?
I mean, it was like all above everything you said. It was sometimes I talk to him. I wasn't like really close to him, but it's like the times I would interact, it was like through other people, and it was like, oh, and people were telling me, and I'm like, okay, and I knew of him at school, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool, and when they told me about like how his music blew up, I was very surprised because I was like, oh, I didn't think he was the type of person to be into music. So when he went all the way, I just felt like it was a better direction for him because the kind of the path that he was going before wasn't it for him. So when he went the music path, I felt like it was a healing for him. It made it look better on him being a rapper and going the direction he was going.
So would you consider him an acquaintance back in high school? Would you consider him a friend? Would you consider him another phrase?
I would say an acquaintance. Acquaintance, yeah.
Now, as far as he's gotten in the music industry, as far as he's climbed that ladder of success, does any of that surprise you, considering you saw him from that vantage point of the high school days?
Not really, because I usually think that people who make a big name in high school, they usually tend to be somewhat in the stardom side outside of high school because they carry that same I won't say high school fame or something like that, but they carry that with them outside of high school or with to other high schools and things like that. Because I don't think he still stayed at Bowie, so take it with him through different high schools. He probably had a name in the streets that people I probably didn't really know that he was in the streets about. So like, at the end of the day, it just like I say, when him doing the direction of music just made it look better on him. It just looked way better on him. Like he had music, it was making music, great music, and I'm just like, man, this is a win for Maryland.
And speaking of music, did you have any music with them?
Nah, I ain't had no music, but at that time I was already on my own journey. I was already doing other things. So, if I were to get a chance to do a song with him, I would do a song with Q. I know he got a lot of things going on, but I do a song with Q.
So, aside from Q on this Mount Rushmore, the three other names, do you know any of them personally by any chance?
Nah, I don't know any of them personally, but besides Shabazz who came to the party at one time, I don't know any of them personally.
So, Shabazz was part of the group that actually attended the establishment.
Yeah, Shabazz used to be part of the group with Q the Fool. I kind of sound like a fan a little bit. I wasn't really a fan for real. I ain't gonna lie. But it was that's what I heard because that's what my people put me game on, and I was like, oh okay, and they was part of a group together. So, but like I said, Shabazz and the group came to the party, but I don't think Q was there. I was like, if he did come, he came like later. A time was I wasn't paying attention because I was busy too busy running my party. So.
Now, anything you want to say to any of these names who may be watching or listening to this interview right now?
Hey, keep making Maryland look good, man. Keep dropping bangers. I'm all big Maryland, you know what I mean? I'm a big boss of DMV, but I'm all big Maryland. Keep dropping them bangers. I'm rooting for Q. I'm rooting for anybody that's from Maryland doing big things for Maryland.
Now, is it fair to say you're an opinionated person?
Opinion. What you mean by that?
What do you think I mean by that?
Opinion. I got a lot of opinions about things. I don't know. I come with facts sometimes, but I mean, I guess you could say I have everybody entitled to their own opinions. So I usually come with a little bit facts though.
Well, don't know if you want to answer this next question, but there are some controversial figures online that the audience wants to get your opinion on. Going to mention each of these names, and if you don't care to share an opinion, I'll move forward to the next name. But what is your opinion on Whack 100?
Whack 100. Respectable guy. I feel like Whack 100 is one of them managers who actually do his job. Every time I see him, he's always talking about his artist, trying to push the music for his artist, or trying to push some type of controversy for his artist. So every time I seen Whack 100 in the light, he's always just doing his job. I've never seen him like really go off what he's supposed to be doing. So very respectable guy, honorable guy. Hope to meet him one day. But yeah, that's my opinion about Whack 100.
Charleston White.
Charleston White. Oh man, that's my guy. That's my guy. But funny guy, very 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 funny individual. Come with a lot of knowledge, a lot of facts. His antics pretty crazy, but the dude really be speaking his truth. So sometimes I tune in Charleston White to just listen to what you say beyond the words that he's just throwing out there. I actually like pay attention to what he's actually saying, like the statistics and what's really going on in the culture and what he's actually observing at his age. Because when you sometimes you want to get the information from the older folks, because during their age of like growing over time, they seen the difference in culture and how people talk and how people treat each other. So sometimes you want to get that information from the older folks so you can adjust about how you living and you can share that with the youth. So yeah.
1090 Jake.
1090 Jake. Who's that guy? That's the guy that be exposing everybody paperwork or something like that. I don't know, man. The Fed. I don't know about 10. I don't know. I don't want to answer nothing about 1090 Jake because I don't want to end up on his page about nothing. I don't got no paperwork. I don't got nothing, so I don't want to say nothing about 1090 Jake. I don't know nothing about no 1090 Jake.
Aunt Glizzy.
Oh man, Aunt Glizzy. He industry now. Before he wasn't industry. For some reason I like people when they don't be industry, because when they get their clout when they not industry, it feels authentic. But when you start going like the industry route, I'm just like, I think he's just doing everything for clout now. So I got my good and bad opinions, but I'm gonna just speak good on the brother. And Glizzy, very good individual. He did put the DMV in the forefront. He talks about a lot of artists, not just DC artists. He talks about Maryland artists, talks about Virginia artists. So, he's one of the I guess you can say the academics of the DMV. He likes to put the certain artists in the forefront, in the light, so they get that that exposure. So, he's doing a great job. I just think he needs to stop talking about a lot of people, like try to put out unnecessary information about people out there. But other than that, and Glizzy kind of good and bad for the culture, for the DMV culture. But overall, we need people like them. We need people to drive the culture that way.
Has he ever talked about you or mentioned you in any of his videos, rants, things of that nature, so on and so forth?
No, because you'll never find anything about me to talk about me about. It's nothing surprising to find out about me. And so if he finds some information that I don't know about myself, then I don't know about it. But yeah, there's no information that he can dig up and talk about me about.
Kanye West.
Ooh, that's my guy. Kanye is the GOAT. Kanye is the GOAT, the GOAT. Forever be the GOAT.
Now, for transparency, do you know any of these names personally?
Do I know any of these names personally? No, I don't know them personally. I wish that I did, but I don't know them personally.
Just curious there. All right, well, before this interview ends, is there anything else you were not asked fans want to know?
If y'all want to know I got into any more accidents from my last interview, if y'all ain't tuned into my last interview, because let's let you know, my last interview doesn't have a dollar sign in it. So I hope this one has a dollar sign in it. So, but I haven't been in no accident. I've been in one recent accident where it was in Delhi. So that's why I'm still here. I'm here to actually be on the interview to tell y'all. But yeah, shout out Boston DMV. It's FXR season.
Do you want to shed any light on that accident?
Ooh, I was in my pickup truck. I was coming back from I was coming back from work. Then it was kind of raining, but not. And my brakes gave up on me. My brakes failed on me. So when I tried to hit my brakes, it was getting no traction, and I slid. But I wasn't driving that fast. So, but when it happened, it was raining, so my car actually like hydroplaned, and I rear-ended another car. But it wasn't like a big rear end. It was like a tap, and insurance was able to cover it and things like that. But no injuries, no. So yeah, we good.
Is there anything you want to address while you're here?
Address. I just want to let everybody know, hey, DMV is coming up next. DMV culture all the way. There might be a ceiling on the DMV, like a little glass ceiling, but we're gonna break through it. So, I'm just here to push the culture forward.
Anything else you didn't get a chance to mention you'd like to mention now?
What is that? Oh, make sure you tune in. We throw the most biggest 420 parties. Make sure y'all tune in to every 420 party every year, annually. We got free goodie bags and things like that. So make sure y'all tune in. Boston DMV, tune into the night scene in the DMV. We're most definitely going up.
And how can those that are interested find more information about any of that stuff?
Hey, follow us up Instagram at Boston DMV, or you can also tune into my page, official boots _.
And anything else?
Anything else? Nah, I think we should be good. We got anything else? I think we should be good to go.
Any loose ends you want to tie from this interview with the previous topics you were asked?
Any loose ends? What you mean?
Anything you failed to speak on?
Anything I failed to speak on? Mount Rushmore. You gotta add more faces on Mount Rushmore. I ain't ask. It should be a lot of people on that Mount Rushmore, but I kind of took them out because And I look at certain individuals in a certain way. So, but Fat Trail should be on there. Well, it's definitely been pushing the Washington D.C. culture forward. You got Rico Nasty as a female. She been pushing the culture. She's been going crazy with music. There's a lot of upcoming artists too coming up, so you should tune into them. Like Big Tay. Um, you got Pinky the rapper. You got a lot of artists in the area that's blowing up.
Anything that needs further clarification from what was said in this interview?
Um, I will clarify. What I got? Anything I said? Hmm? I don't know what you said. Oh, uh, nah. I already got anything else, but just to say, nothing else to clarify. I mean, other than that, yeah, I don't got nothing else to clarify. Everything is there. Everything is the truth.
Care to share who that is off camera to the side of you, trying to help you out there with that last answer?
Shout out my assistant slash my manager slash my girlfriend. Uh, she been trying to help. She been in my journey with me for a while now. So yeah, we just been thugging it out.
Do you want to put a name to that girlfriend?
Shout out Cassie. I call her Cassandra, but she don't like getting called Cassandra. But shout out Cassie. There you go.
Now, speaking of her, true or false, she's biologically related to Jada Pinkett.
Okay, it's complicated. Okay, it's complicated but not complicated. I'm glad you even asked me. It's complicated but not complicated, right? My girlfriend, she has a sister. Okay. It's kind of it's okay. Let me slow it down a bit because I have to really break it down for y'all to understand. They're both adopted, right? My girlfriend and her sister are adopted, right? So, my girlfriend's sister, she was actually adopted by Jada Pinkett's family. So she's actually that's where my girlfriend's kind of related to that. So her sister is actually one of the family members Jada Pinkett don't talk about a lot. So, if she says when Jada Pinkett talks about other family and things like that, that's the other family she don't really talk about. And, with Jada Pinkett being from Baltimore and things like that, that's that Baltimore side that she don't usually talk about. I don't think she really touched base on about her past a lot. So, that's something that I wanted to bring to light because they don't get a lot of light, and that's actual facts. That's actual facts. My girlfriend's sister parents was like biologically was Jada Pinkett's father, things like that, and I feel like there's like a history with that. But I'm not. I don't, like that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say.
Now, Cassandra, you are not mic'd up, but you can still be heard if you want to chime in on anything he said here in regards to that. And if not, that's okay too. Just giving you a chance, a floor to speak if you want.
Okay, well,
You want her to sit on there?
No, 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 that's okay.
Okay.
oh, okay, well, what he said was true. The dynamic when I was born and when my sister was born, we are biologically related, same mother, same father. But the family that she got adopted by, her father, not her biological father, but her adopted father is Jada Pinkett's biological father. So she got adopted by his father. So they're siblings. They're sisters.
Yeah, basically related in that aspect. It's kind of that's why I say I kind of have to break it down because they related but not really. But it's like that's how she's associated with Jada Pinkett. So yeah, it's something that she told me a while back. I was like, that's kind of interesting. I was like, Jada Pinkett don't never talk about that side.
She just had a book, a memoir. It was called Worthy.
Okay.
It did touch base on a lot of things, but it didn't touch too much base on that subject.
Right.
Yeah, because I read the book and it was pretty good. But she talked about her younger days growing up on the streets of Baltimore, and then what happened forward with her kids and stuff like that.
So did you ever get a chance to meet her?
I did at a funeral once, but I guess at that time, she didn't really want to be bothered. So she was at her father's and her grandmother's funeral, and the grandmother's funeral, they came kind of late because they didn't want to be bombarded by, paparazzi or anything like that. But after that, I met Will too, because she's related, and the way he acts on TV is exactly how he acts in person.
And you've met each of these people just once in your life?
Yeah.
And Will was at that same event as well?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, I wasn't there, but yeah, she was there. So I was like, she would know more about that.
Anything else on this subject?
I don't think so.
If Jada is so happening to watch or listening to this interview, anything you'd want to say to her?
Touch back down the bottom.
Don't forget your roots, girl. Just keep coming back to Baltimore and maybe giving back to the community or even her sister, my sister, our sister. Yeah, that's about it.
Huh? She got a lot of sisters.
Yeah, not Jada, but the other sister. Shout out to my sisters, my biological ones.
Any final words?
Ain't final words. Nah, that's it. I think everything that you came at me with, I think that was everything in my head for right now. Unless you got some other side questions, I'm ready for it. But at the end of the day, I got it to go.